Ada lay a long time awake too, thinking any number of thoughts. That Inmund looked so much older than 4 years ought to account for, so thin and grim and held within himself. And she thought momentarily that she ought to worry about losing her beauty and having become brown and stringy and rough. And then she thought that you went on living one day after another, and in time you were somebody else, your previous self only like a close relative, a sister or brother, with whom you shared a past, but a different person, a separate life. Certainly neither she nor Inmund were the people they had been the last time they were together, and she believed maybe she liked them both better now. That was an excerpt from a fantastic book, Cold Mountain by Charles Frazier. I finished it earlier this year, and this book is just absolutely fantastic. And what I wanted everybody to talk about in this next week is something that's really near and dear to my heart, which is literature, because you guys know I just love reading. So I wanted to make 2 points about what I read. And first of all, of actually what she was saying, Ada at the point in this book when her and Inmund meet up 4 years later. They had this really short-term, just intense romance before we went off to fight in the Civil War. And she had just been this, beautiful, but not very well worldly educated person at the time. And he comes back 4 years later. He's so hardened and different by the war. And she had been struggling these 4 years just to survive. And they were such different people. But, she said that now that she was different, they would keep on living day after day, and perhaps they even like themselves better now. And even though they weren't the people they were when they originally met, since their love was a little bit deeper now that they had this growing experience and this time apart, and maybe perhaps they would like each other better and themselves better now. And that's what helps go into a good relationship, is feeling better about yourself. The second point I wanted to make was actually about the cover of the book. I don't know about you guys, because some of you might not read as much as I do, but when I go to pick out a book, the very first thing I look at is the cover. Sometimes I don't even look at the title, because if the cover looks so stupid, I probably don't even pick up the book. And that's a big thing, I think, because someday I'd like to write, is that it matters so much, just the aesthetic value of what your book looks like. This book, just the look of it makes me really sad, and the story itself is sad, and I really just enjoy that. I look at this book and it just totally gets me in the mood for reading it. And another thing I just totally love, I don't know if you can see this, but along the edges of these pages, they're not a clean cut page such as this. They are cut as almost as if they were cut individually, so they're all a little bit different length, and the corners are really rough and fraying. And something just about picking up this book each time just makes me, I don't know, it makes me feel like I am back in the 1860s and I'm reading a legit manuscript. And the point I just want to make is aesthetic value is so much to how you feel. If this book had just been a black cover with a title on it and straight cut white pages and disgusting fonts on the inside, I might not have thought twice about buying it out of the 1,000 of books that I saw at Barnes & Nobles that day. But just because of the way it was, that's why I got it. So I gotta ask you guys, what does aesthetic value mean for you? Not necessarily just with books, but in general life. The way something looks, does it affect the way it makes you feel? Not necessarily people, because that's a whole different topic. But just the way things look in your everyday life, does that affect how you feel about them? Because I guess sometimes it does for me. So what I challenge you guys to do this week is read something or from something that you've really enjoyed, or maybe you absolutely hated, but something that really affected you. And it can just be a short couple of sentences, but just read from something that touched you and kind of explain why. Because on this channel, I'd like to do, mainly it's for us keeping together, keeping knowing each other after we graduate, because that's happening here in like 4 weeks. But I'd also like to, have some good discussions, because I know when we get together and hang out, we have crazy discussions. And I think we can do that in here too, because though we can't directly respond to each other, I don't hear George and Sam in my ears telling me and disagreeing, but we can still, discuss things and talk about stuff. And this is just one topic I find really interesting, mainly because I just love books. I appreciate all of your time, and I'm very excited for my challenge week. I can't believe it's already almost week, 5 full weeks, but challenge week number 4. It's pretty intense. I think that will be all, so I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. See guys, not on drugs so much anymore. I think I lost my energy. I need to go to sleep. I'm pretty tired.